wanted just to challenge myself to do something that I usually do not enjoy, still lifes. So maybe you're asking me, Clara, why would you do something you do not really like to do? And to that I would say, maybe I'm a masochist? Ever thought about that? And it doesn't even stop there. That's 15 years ago when I started my art journey. I was more kind of a drawer. And as a drawer, you often don't get it. I already came up with the sketch, the outlines. Why do I have to fill it in now? Then you just paint all over it and you can't see any of it anymore. And I'm like, why did I even do that in the first place? What the frick? Being as passionate as I am about painting, the natural question that arises next is, maybe I should be a painter, an artist. Maybe I want to do this as a job every day and every hour, until I die and beyond, when I'm a zombie and crawl out of my grave to do my side hustle. But maybe I also hate it. Maybe I really hate painting. Maybe it's too tedious for me. Because if I hate it, I probably shouldn't become a painter. I want to see if I can still improve at art, because I haven't seen a lot of improvement in the last 10 years, because I didn't practice a lot. That's what I wanted to do, and that's what I'm gonna show you now. So, let's start with the first one. So there's a problem with the first one. It's bad that it's good, because now I won't have as much progress to show in the end. If I made just like a stick figure and then showed you, oh, and that's how much I improved. That probably wouldn't be very sincere, but at least I could show you some real good progress. But I'm not doing that. I'm not a scammer. So, the second day I painted some fruit that I don't know the name of in English. It's a khaki. Maybe that is the English word. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't like it a lot. It's pretty dark. It doesn't look vibrant at all. It's, I don't know. Sound like a duck. Here I made some cupcake, just some girly things to do, I guess. I really like the glazing. The glazing looks very nice to me. But this body of a cupcake, I want to throw up. Oh my god, I keep spitting. I'm so sorry. So on the next day, I went around in my flat and I found these plants, and they look pretty flat as well, like my flat where I found it. This one I actually really liked when I made it, but a couple days later I kind of hated it. Because, yeah, the bell peppers look kind of flat, and also here, the celery. It looks like it's floating here somehow. Somehow I misplaced the shadow, but I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you, I'll show you. I have this cucumber and I have this celery. And they go, this lies on top of this. So of course the shadow here will appear further away, but you can't see that because of the image section I chose to paint here. And I just placed these objects here on my table just to show you this. I hope it was worth it. I'm not sure. If you see some non-still lifes here, it is because I additionally on some day made one of these. I didn't cheat. Sometimes I just needed some switching up, like doing only still lifes can get rather exhausting and boring at times. So now, I have a quiz for you. For the next 2 paintings, one of them turned out to be one of the best paintings I made in this challenge. And one of them turned out to be one of the worst, or if not the worst painting that I made. You think this or this is the good one? Have you chosen? This one is the better one. I kind of stopped with this one halfway through when it was still in its ugly phase. And if you were wondering, the ugly phase lasts like kind of 90% of the time of painting something. And sometimes it never leaves this zone. But usually it's just a matter of sticking with it until you leave the ugly phase. Unless it's really bad, then you should just give up. I should be a motivational coach or something and saying like, yeah, never give up. It's gonna get better. Unless it's really bad, then you should give up immediately, you moron. Yeah, that would be very motivating. Anyhow, let's put these out. Oh yeah, and to praise myself a little bit more, yeah, I really, really like these apples. Like, I really do, because they look kind of painterly, kind of loose brush strokes, and I like them. I don't have to justify myself for it, right? Don't make me justify. So next up, woo, we have 2 more horrible paintings that I made for fun. Because that often happens when I make something for fun, it turns out horrible. That's why I needed this challenge, to push myself a little bit more, sometimes. So, maybe if you're seeking for a deeper message inside of one of them, then don't. There is none. I think also on the same day I made this one. This one is from a photograph instead of from real-life arrangements. Usually I just really prefer real-life arrangements because it makes me feel like artsy. Very artsy-fartsy, like I can feel these objects when they're in front of me. I'm like, ooh, that orange, I can feel you. That wasn't weird at all. Alright, here we got onions, shallots, and this one, oh, I still have this head here. Wait for a second. Wait for it. Ha! So this one I made when I was like not at the party. After a party that I attended, a costume party. It's not a really good painting, but I made this at 1 or 2 a.m. It was really late, but I'd rather be deprived of sleep than fail this challenge. Because we do that here. You and me. We never give up something we set out to do. Unless it's really bad. Then we give up. I don't know, this is kind of a nothing burger of an image. And I wasn't happy with it at all. And also something I didn't like, you couldn't really see any brush strokes. It just looked like a bad photograph, basically. And that's not why I make art. I want it to at least look a little bit like a person made this. So sometimes you have to make something really bad in order to learn a valuable lesson. And I did, obviously, because the next day I made one of my best paintings in this challenge. It's apples again. Yep. I don't know what about apples, but I'm kind of good at them. I don't know. Maybe because they're just simple ball-shaped objects. So on this day I had my desk lamp actually here on the table ground. So that's how this dramatic lighting came to life. And yeah, I'm really very happy with this one. I can't even say which of my apple paintings I like more, the brown background one or the green one. So let me know in the comments which one is your favorite apple painting. I don't know, doughy objects, first the cupcakes, now the noodles. It just doesn't want to work somehow for me. Like people that I showed this to were like, oh, the glass looks good, but what is this? Is this cereals? And I'm like, no. How can you not see this? These ambiguous looking color blobs, that's noodles. You moron. I like calling people moron, I guess. So yeah, so I was using this background for this one, and I really like the tomatoes. I think they turned out pretty nice. Next up, we have this one. I don't like it. It looks a little bit too clean, too unreal. So next up, I did some more experimenting and my voice. I made some more experiments, and this time I didn't sketch before. I just started painting because it's not such a difficult object, I thought. And I was actually pretty happy with it. And afterwards I made some abstract version of it. An abstract fennel. What? You gonna judge me now for making abstract art, huh? You gonna do that? Next up. So for that one I have to tell you a little bit of a backstory. I'll make it very short. I wrote it down so that I can easily just recite it to not waste your time or anything. In high school, our art teacher made us paint only pomegranates for 3 successive paintings. The first one only alone probably took me 30 hours, the second one maybe 20, and when I heard the third one should be also about pomegranates, I had a mental breakdown instead. I started crying, and ever since pomegranates are my arch enemies. So in short, I hate them, pomegranates. I hate them. Ah, stupid pomegranate. Let me punch you. So obviously the natural thing for me to do was paint another pomegranate, and identical to my drawing from before, because I wanted to see if I had improved magically over the years. And spoiler, I'm not sure I did. It looks kind of samey. It doesn't look really better than the drawn one. So yeah, but it was a fun challenge. But I don't think I can paint more than 1 pomegranate per year. I don't think I have more than that within me. So, yeah. Another grim looking face of a grim looking boy. Just how I like him. Yeah. So, there I actually have one of those because they have caffeine. And I'm kind of tired. I'm recording this kind of late at night. I was setting the scene up and every stuff like that all day. And now I'm getting ready to actually do the video, and I'm tired now. Well, good job, Clara. Good job. So, my husband's favorite soft drink, which is Mate in German? I'm not sure how it's called in English. Mate, maybe. Hello, mate. Well, this mate bottles, I painted them. I think they look kind of pretty. And my husband was saying like, yeah, he really likes them, except this little reflection here. You think it looks kind of off. And to that I told him, you look kind of off to me. But it was now. I'm kidding. Alright, because the last day I was doing so much. This day I thought I would do very little. But I actually really like it. So doing little work sometimes does pay off. Onions again. Because in the last painting I did about onions, I realized I really like their look. I feel kind of torn about it. Like, I think the background looks a little bit too messy and it distracts me from the onions, kind of. I don't know. What do you think? Do you like it? My husband does, but we've already established that he has no good taste. Anyhow, that's why he chose me as his wife. Oh, getting too real today. Anyhow, so, because I wasn't 100% happy with the last one painting I did, let me just get those low-hanging fruits, I thought. Those low-hanging apple fruits, because I did 2 good apple paintings before. But spoiler, this one is my least favorite apple painting. It's okay, but something about the composition I don't really like that much. But then I have this! Ha! Did I spook you? It's another psychopath. I don't know why I paint them in my free time. And he has his irises above his eyelids a little bit. Like, that's probably the weirdest, most scariest face I've painted ever. And I don't know, I don't hate it, but I could totally understand if you do. I could totally. Yeah, oftentimes I'm a little bit lazy about arranging those things on my panel correctly. So they're kind of in the top right corner here, and this is a little bit weird with the empty space here. So just added some convenient image elements to fix it, hopefully. Not too unhappy about it. Next up, I did another interesting challenge. Yeah, I was kind of getting bored already. I watched a video and there the guy was, you should practice doing only 30 brush strokes paintings. And I tried 100 brush strokes here, but I realized I can't really focus on counting and painting at the same time, so it's probably more brush strokes. Stuff for fun. It's a curse. I love to eat bell peppers, but every painting where they occur in, it looks just so awful. Also, the potatoes. Have you ever seen someone hang an image of a potato on their walls? Maybe there's a reason for that, actually. Like, maybe potatoes weren't meant to be aesthetically pleasing objects to hang on your wall. I hate it. Let's move on. So, every time I make something that I hate, I make something really good the next day, I guess. So, I made these... Oh no, I missed my thing that I wanted to say. So, I made something really bad, but I think I learned something of it. So, the next day I went bananas. And then I was about to show you this, how I painted the bananas. Anyway, I messed this up, so I can't do that anymore. I'm kind of scared of this drink spilling all over my paintings. Let me put this away for the moment. So, next to this, in this painting, I also used my smallest brush again. And you might gonna laugh, but I didn't always do this, because here you see those tomato strings, they look kind of thick, and I wished I had started using this little brush again sooner. I don't know what I was doing over there, honestly. The next one is a tough one. I really wanted to make this work, but all what I managed was to make it barely passable. So this is editing, Clara. I know, this girl is complaining all the time about her own art. I know. I'm here because even though I filmed this video, I kind of failed to paint the whole picture. Like, not in a literal sense, I always painted the whole picture, but I forgot to mention how grateful I was every single day. I don't mind if 80 or 90% of my reviews about my own art is negative. I see all these areas where I could improve, and I am still at the end of the day very proud of what I did, and mostly my best artworks, but I'm also proud for the mediocre or bad art that I at least tried to produce something, that I attempted something, it didn't work out, maybe next time it will. With that in the frame, enjoy the rest of my ramblings. I experimented a little bit on this day with some colored paper. The result doesn't look very special or good in any way, but I feel like I learned a lot doing this, and it was a lot of fun because it was very experimental for me. And what did I learn? Don't ask me. So I was getting pretty much bored, and I don't know if I already mentioned this, but honestly, picking up the brush every single day, it can be a hard thing to do, because I know I'm gonna sit here for 2 hours and just paint, so it's often a motivational problem. I was particularly bored of all the veggies and fruits that I've painted, so this time I put up some tools instead, like pincers and a screwdriver. And to make up for it, I also put a beautiful candle in the middle to make it romantic. This time I also switched it up. I painted all the background first, and even where the pincers are laying. And then on top I put everything, and I didn't sketch it out first. And this process was a lot of fun for me, but I don't really like the result that much. I just messed up in some areas, like this looks a little bit crooked and too long, and I really don't like... Nah, I can't look at it. Anyhow, and this was the second last one. It's some kale, some veggies again. But I haven't painted a lot of leafy veggies, so that was fine. So now, let's get to the final comparison. You remember the painting that I did in the beginning of the video? No, of course you don't. I'll put it here, I guess. So, you remember that. Imagine having almost the same objects on it, but now 30 days later. How much will I have improved? That was it. The moment of truth. The thing we have all been waiting for. I don't know. I'm a little theatrical. Here. This is the result. Let's compare them directly. The friggin' signature. That's the biggest area of improvement, ironically, but look at this abomination of a signature. You can't look at it. No, you can't. So, big 10 out of 10. Next up, Apples. I give this improvement a 7 out of 8. 7 out of 10. Changing the scale mid-while would be very confusing. Just because I feel like the old apples weren't that horrible, but I really like the new ones. They look juicy. Then, colors. Maybe a 1 out of 10. Just because I really like the yellow lemons on this one. I really like the juicy redness of the apples, so that kind of makes up for it, I guess. Overall composition, well, 2 out of 10. I improved a little, but not really substantially. I think I didn't learn a lot about which image pieces to pick to paint. I was kind of lazy in this area, to be honest. And also on these two examples, I couldn't even say which one of these has the superior composition. Overall brush stroke security, I would say 8 out of 10. Because you can see that these lines look more insecure and clumsy compared to these. Cleaning up messy areas. 9 out of 10. Unfortunately only on my paintings and not in my messy room. Anyhow, you can see that I spilled some color over the lemon and you still can see it, and I didn't go and fix it and paint some more brown over it in the shadows. So that's also something that I improved, I would say. Overall enjoyment of painting mundane objects. 10 out of 10, I would say. It might sound a little bit cheesy, but painting really helps me to appreciate the simple things in life more, like the simple objects in front of me. The apples, the juicy little apples, or like the pomegranate. Ah! Pomegranate! You! And most of all, I realized I really do like painting. Even though I was so opposed to it in the beginning, it doesn't feel like tedious coloring in more anymore. I even sometimes skip the sketching step, and even if I sketch, I only do very rough sketches just to position the objects, and the details I'll fill in later. And yeah, it's kind of relaxing actually. I like it. I'm gonna fly away now.